Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're going to be taking a close look at some simple English conversations today,
Uh-huh.
the kind that are perfect for anyone who really wants to work on their spoken English.
Okay.
We've got a whole bunch of these little snippets of conversations, and I have to say,
Yeah.
I'm already pretty impressed by how much they pack into just, a few lines.
What's really interesting to me about these short exchanges
Yeah.
is that they're like the basic building blocks for becoming more fluent.
Right.
At first you might think, oh, they're just simple questions and answers,
Right.
but they really do lay the foundation for more complex and natural communication.
It's like they've taken the essence of everyday conversations and kind of
Ah,
distilled it down into these bite-sized pieces.
right.
And I'm also noticing a lot of repetition in the structure of them,
Yeah,
which seems really smart for learning.
absolutely. Repetition is key
Yeah.
because it helps you absorb common phrases and grammatical structures
Yeah.
almost without realizing it. Think of it like learning a song.
Okay.
The more you hear it,
Uh-huh.
the more it sticks in your head.
And speaking of sticking in your head,
Yeah.
I'm seeing a really diverse range of topics here.
Yes.
Travel hobbies, abilities,
Mm-hmm.
even some fun kind of hypothetical scenarios.
Right.
So it's not just about, learning dry grammar rules.
Right.
It's about actually equipping yourself to talk about real life stuff.
Exactly. You're not just learning vocabulary in isolation.
Yeah.
You're seeing how it's used in a real context.
Right.
And that context is crucial for really understanding the nuances of a language
Yeah.
and how native speakers actually use it.
All right. I am itching to dive into some examples.
Okay.
This one caught my eye. Do you enjoy listening to music?
Okay.
And the answer is yes, I enjoy listening to music.
Right.
So simple,
Yeah.
yet it highlights a really important grammatical structure.
It does. It does. You're right. It uses the present continuous tense.
Right.
Enjoy listening. And this is how we talk about activities we do regularly in English.
Exactly.
And it's a structure that you will hear and use all the time
Constant.
in English conversation.
And that's something you, our listener, can start practicing right away.
Absolutely.
Think about activities you enjoy.
Right.
Reading, cooking,
Yeah.
maybe even, deep diving into podcasts.
Yes.
And try using that present continuous structure to describe those activities.
Here's another one that uses a different but equally important tense.
Okay.
Have you ever traveled to another country?
Okay.
Yes, I have traveled to another country.
Right. The present perfect tense.
Yes.
Perfect for talking about experiences you
Yes.
had in your life,
Right.
whether it's, traveling to exotic places or mastering a new recipe.
And notice how the answer mirrors the structure of the question.
Oh, that's true.
That mirroring is another clever feature of these conversations.
Yeah.
It reinforces that question's structure.
Right.
And it gives you a ready-made model for how to answer similar questions.
Okay, I have to share one more before we move on,
Okay.
just because I love how quirky it is.
Okay.
Can you swim underwater?
Okay.
Yes, I can swim underwater.
Right.
But the real gem here is the grammar.
You got it. Oh, we're seeing that modal verb can in action here.
Uh-huh.
Modal verbs are little power-ups in English.
Yeah.
Letting you express abilities, possibilities,
Yeah.
even obligations.
I like the power-ups.
Yeah.
And you know what's so cool about this?
What's that?
Is you can swap out swim underwater with any other activity.
Absolutely.
Can you cook?
Yeah.
Can you play the piano?
Uh-huh.
Can you solve a Rubik's Cube in under a minute?
Right.
The possibilities are endless.
I'm sensing a theme here.
What's that?
These conversations aren't just about parroting phrases.
Right.
They're about understanding the underlying grammar
Yeah.
and then using it like a toolbox to build your own sentences and express your own ideas.
It's like they're giving you the ingredients and showing you how to combine them
Exactly.
to create your own, linguistic feast.
Yes.
But before we get too carried away with the culinary metaphors,
Okay.
I want to challenge our listener to think beyond those simple yes-no answers.
I like where you're going with this.
Yeah.
What if we encourage our listener to treat these snippets
Yeah.
like jumping off points for richer conversations?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like imagine taking that question.
Uh-huh.
Do you enjoy listening to music?
Right.
And instead of just saying yes,
Yes.
you launch into a conversation about your favorite genres or artists,
Exactly.
or even, concert experiences you've had.
Now you're talking. That's how you take these basic building blocks and turn them into something truly engaging and personalized.
So what are some other ways our listener
Okay.
could expand on these conversations and
Yeah.
really get the most out of them?
Well, one powerful technique is to turn those simple yes or no questions into opportunities to share your own experiences and perspectives.
Okay.
For example, let's take that travel question we mentioned earlier.
Okay. Have you ever traveled to another country?
Exactly. Instead of just saying yes, you could name a specific country you visited
Yeah.
and maybe even share a memorable anecdote or observation from that trip.
I like that.
You could say something like, yes, I've been to Japan. It was an incredible experience. The culture is so different from my own, and I was amazed by the blend of tradition and modernity.
And just like that,
Right.
you've opened up a whole new avenue for conversation.
Exactly.
Your partner might be curious to hear more about your trip,
Right.
or they might share their own travel experiences.
It's like planting a seed
Uh-huh.
that can blossom into a full-blown conversation.
I like that.
And the beauty is you don't need to be a world traveler
Right.
or a master storyteller to do this.
Right. You could even say something as simple as, I haven't traveled much,
Right.
but I'd love to visit Italy someday. I've heard so much about the food and the art.
It's about expressing your interests
Yeah.
and engaging with the other person.
I like that. So it's about being open and honest and willing to share a little bit about yourself,
Exactly.
even if it's something small.
And don't be afraid to inject some humor into your responses as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Language learning should be enjoyable.
Yes.
So don't take yourself too seriously.
I'm noticing a pattern here.
What's that?
It seems like the more we delve into these conversations, the more we uncover the power of personal storytelling.
Yes.
It's like those simple questions are keys
Okay.
that unlock hidden chambers
Uh-huh.
of memories and experiences.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's a reminder that language isn't just about memorizing rules and vocabulary lists.
Right.
It's about connecting with others on a human level, sharing our stories, and creating meaningful interactions.
I'm feeling so inspired by this conversation.
Me too.
It's amazing how much we can learn about ourselves and others
Yeah,
through the simple act of talking.
I agree.
But before we get too philosophical,
Right.
I'm eager to explore some more of these conversation snippets
Okay.
and see what other treasures we can unearth.
Sounds good. Now let's take a look at another example that invites some personal reflection.
Okay.
Do you like to cook at home?
Oh, this one's a personal favorite of mine
Okay.
because I love talking about food.
Yeah.
I think it's like a universal language
I agree.
that connects people across cultures.
It is. And this question is a perfect opportunity to share your culinary passions. Whether you're, a seasoned chef
Right.
or just enjoy experimenting in the kitchen.
You could talk about your signature dish,
Uh-huh.
a cuisine you'd like to try,
Right.
or even a funny kitchen mishap you've experienced.
And even if you're not a cooking enthusiast,
Right.
you could still share your thoughts on food.
Yeah.
Maybe you prefer to eat out, or maybe you have some fond memories of family meals growing up.
Yeah. It's all about finding those points of connection
Exact.
and using language as a bridge to kind of build rapport with someone.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about questions related to abilities.
Right.
Like, can you ride a horse?
This is a classic yes or no question.
Yeah.
But as we've seen with other examples,
Right.
it has the potential to spark a much richer conversation.
Absolutely. If you're an experienced equestrian,
Yeah.
you could share stories about your riding adventures
Right.
or talk about different riding styles.
Uh-huh. And if you've never ridden a horse,
Okay.
you could express your curiosity about it or
Yeah.
maybe share a funny anecdote
Right.
about a time you tried and failed miserably.
The key takeaway here is that even these seemingly simple questions
Yeah.
can be springboards
Right.
for engaging and meaningful conversations.
Absolutely.
It's all about being open and honest
Uh-huh.
and willing to share a little bit about yourself.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the deep dive. It feels like we've only just started to explore these simple English conversations
I know, right?
and all the different things they can teach us.
It's amazing.
I'm ready for more examples.
Me too.
Okay, so this one really stood out to me. Can you play a musical instrument?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a question that I think not only explores abilities,
Yeah.
but it also goes deeper into like hobbies and passions
Right.
and creative expression.
It's a great way to start a conversation
Uh-huh.
because it lets people share something that's often really close to their heart.
Yeah.
Music just has this way of connecting people on a deeper level.
And even if you don't play an instrument,
Right.
there's still so much you can talk about.
Absolutely.
You could mention an instrument you'd love to learn someday. Or talk about a genre of music that really moves you.
Yeah.
Or even a concert that you saw that left like a lasting impression.
And don't forget about those follow-up questions.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Instead of just saying, no, I don't play anything.
Yeah.
You could ask, what instrument do you play?
Ah.
Or what kind of music do you like to listen to?
Right. It's all about being curious and keeping that conversation flowing.
Exactly. It shows you're interested.
And that's a good reminder for our listeners, too.
Yeah,
Conversation is a two-way street.
it is.
It's about listening and responding and building on what the other person is saying.
It really is. It's a collaborative dance,
I like that.
not a solo performance.
Okay, let's move on to a question about physical activities. Do you enjoy going to the gym?
Okay,
I feel like this could lead to a lot of interesting discussions.
definitely. About health and fitness and just overall well-being.
It's a topic that I think almost everyone can relate to in some way,
I think so too.
regardless of whether they're like a gym rat or not.
Right.
Even if you don't love the gym,
Yeah,
you can still have a good conversation about it.
of course.
You can talk about other ways you like to stay active.
Uh-huh. Like hiking or swimming or dancing.
Exactly. You could share your thoughts on why you think exercise is important. Or you could even talk about how hard it is to stay healthy
Yeah.
with our busy modern lives.
It's all about finding that common ground,
Right.
even if you have totally different approaches to fitness.
I'm just loving how these questions that seem so basic on the surface
Yeah.
can lead to such rich and complex conversations.
Me too.
It reminds me that learning a language is about so much more
Uh-huh.
than just memorizing grammar rules and vocabulary.
It is. It's about exploring ideas,
Yeah.
sharing what we've experienced, and learning more about the world around us.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive with one final example.
Okay.
This one always sparks people's imaginations. Have you ever gone skydiving?
Oh, yeah. That one's a classic.
It really brings out that sense of adventure
It does.
and the desire to push your limits.
It makes you want to experience life to the fullest.
And even if you've never jumped out of a plane,
Right.
you can still have a really engaging conversation about it.
Definitely.
You could talk about whether it's something you'd ever try,
Uh-huh.
what parts of it excite you or scare you,
Right.
maybe even share some other adventures you've had or ones that are still on your bucket list.
It's about connecting those universal emotions
Yeah.
to your own personal story.
And I think that brings us to the core of what we've been talking about today.
What's that?
The power of these simple conversations.
Uh-huh.
They might seem small at first glance,
Right?
but they have so much potential
They do.
to help us become more fluent,
Yeah.
build our confidence,
Right.
and create real connections with others.
These conversations give us a structure
Yeah.
for practicing important language skills,
Right.
but they also remind us that language is all about human connection.
Absolutely.
It's about sharing our stories,
Mm.
understanding different points of view, and building bridges between cultures.
So to all our listeners out there,
Yes.
we encourage you to embrace these simple conversations as valuable tools on your English learning journey.
Use them,
Practice them.
expand on them,
Make them your own.
and most importantly,
Have fun with them.
have fun.
Remember, fluency is a journey,
It is
not a destination.
It's about enjoying the process,
Yeah.
making mistakes,
Uh-huh.
and always trying to improve.
Well said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of simple English conversations.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've learned some useful things today
Yes?
and that you feel inspired to go out there
Uh-huh.
and practice your speaking
Keep talking. Keep learning.
and keep exploring the amazing world of language.
It's a wonderful world.
Thank you for listening to The Deep Dive.